At first glance, it appears to be straightforward. With a victory on America's Got Talent, you will be able to walk away with a staggering $1 million and become a superstar. On the other hand, the reality that lies behind that dazzling promise is significantly more complicated and frequently misunderstood. Because of this, even if Jessica Sanchez were to be declared the winner of Season 20, the reality is that she would not win a check for $1 million in its entirety. Talent, favoritism, or scandal are not relevant to this discussion. Contracts, taxes, structures, and the fine print that the majority of fans never bother to read are all involved. To explain why the $1 million prize on American Idol is not what it appears to be, and why a singer like Jessica Sanchez would never actually be able to take home the entire amount, let's break it down. Myth of the $1 million. For many years, American Idol has advertised its ultimate prize as $1 million. Quite daring, it's quite stunning, it's a television showing that works. However, those who are familiar with the competition, and those who have participated in it in the past, have repeatedly affirmed one thing: the winner does not receive a single $100,000 cash prize. On the other hand, the award is broken down into one of two categories: a pension that is paid out over a period of 40 years, a lump sum payout that is discounted and comes before taxes. Both of these choices do not offer a millionaire moment in the sense that fans envision it. Choice 1. The fallacy of the 40-year annuity. If the winner decides to go with the annuity option, the $1 million will be paid out on an annual basis for a period of 40 years. At a preliminary estimate, this amounts to an annual salary of $25,000 before taxes. When you factor in state and federal taxes, the annual salary is often closer to $15,000, $18,000. That annual salary is hardly enough to scratch the surface for a performer located in Las Vegas who is required to maintain a public image, cover travel expenses, invest in branding, and support a crew. When put another way, even if you win America's Got Talent, you will still need to have a career. The second choice is the lump sum, which is still less than $1 million. The majority of winners choose to get their winnings all at once. However, here is the catch. To arrive at the present value, the lump payment is discounted. Typically falls in between $300,000 and $350,000, just before taxes. That number can decrease to the following after taking into account federal taxes and state taxes, depending on residency: $1,500, $220,000 in total. It is money that can change the course of many people's lives, yet it is not even close to $1 million. Therefore, even if Jessica Sanchez were to win Season 20, the award would not be as generous as what was advertised in the advertisement. One of the unseen winners: taxes. AGT prizes are considered taxable income by the United States government and not as gifts. In other words, income tax levied by the federal government. The possibility of a state income tax. Considerations relevant to self-employment. Unlike victories from the lottery, awards from the AGT do not come with any tax sheltering, bonus structures, or guaranteed financial counsel unless the participant pays for it themselves. The headline number is largely symbolic by the time the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, collects its portion. It was never the money that was the true prize. Here's the bit that America's Got Talent doesn't hide, but people generally forget. The opportunity itself is the true treasure. In addition to the finalists, winners receive exposure on a national scale, initializations of the industry, the leverage of booking, the credibility of touring, visibility in the media. When it comes to someone like Jessica Sanchez, who is already familiar with the highs and lows of televised competition, the value is not in a check. In what follows, you will find it. What are the reasons that Jessica Sanchez, in particular, would not pursue the cash? A veteran of the globe, Jessica Sanchez is hardly a newcomer. She had the opportunity to see the system directly on American Idol, long before any suspicions or hypotheticals about AGT originated. She is aware of television fame quickly goes away. The importance of contracts cannot be overstated. Eternity is superior to fleeting acclaim. The prudent thing to do would not be to become obsessed with the prize money if she were to win the American Idol Season 20 competition. In other words, she would be using the platform to reclaim control of the narrative of her professional life. The Las Vegas clause of the AGT. It is important to note that the American Idol Award is not simply monetary. Rather, it is officially related to the opportunity to perform in Las Vegas. In other words, there is frequently a connection between the prize money and performance commitments. Certain winners are required to fulfill the contractual obligations. Long-term use of the Vegas platform is not even utilized by all winners. In the event that a performer decides to go in a different direction, the worth of the prize becomes even more ambiguous. Winners from the past describe the same thing. Several previous winners and finals of America's Got Talent have publicly stated, "The money was not most important. It was more important to be exposed. The momentum in my career did not come about automatically. There were some winners who lost. A few of the finalists were successful. Although winning does not ensure success, failing to win does not preclude success from occurring." Even more than most people, Jessica Sanchez is already familiar with this lesson. Truth against the perceptions of the public. The phrase $1 million could sound like instant security to viewers. To those that perform, it is funding that is only temporary, a budget for startups. It is a tool, not a destination. A significant portion of that money has already been allocated by the time that expenses for agents, managers, lawyers, branding, travel, and production have been met. As a result, Jessica Sanchez is not among the winners of America's Got Talent who may be considered a billionaire. Why athletes continue to get it wrong. The delusion continues to exist because television thrives on being straightforward. Dreams are sold by numbers. The fine print does not make for a decent television show. AGT is not lying. However, it is engaging in marketing. Furthermore, marketing does not provide an explanation of annuities, tax brackets, or the realities of long-term spending. The more significant victory for Jessica Sanchez. The prize money would not represent Jessica Sanchez's true victory if she were to emerge victorious in the 21st season of America's Got Talent. If it were to be a reintroduction to a younger generation of participants, taking responsibility for her arts on her own terms, achieving sustainability through increased visibility. It is a more intelligent, more difficult, and significantly more lucrative win than a check that was never really worth $1 million to begin with. The absolute truth. Why then does American Idol Season 20 winner Jessica Sanchez not take home the $1 million prize? For the reason that, in reality, it is not the case. The resources are subject to conditions, taxes, and reductions. Not a literal number, the headline number is a symbolic one. The actual prize has always been something completely different, and the artists who have been successful throughout the years are the ones who have understood this from the beginning.